Lads, lasses, and the rest of the masses, welcome back to another episode of The Grayscale, the series in which we take previous things from the last Chelsea game and give them a rating from good, medium, and bad. And of course, at the end, I will put it to you guys to vote for your great, or your player of the match for this game. Though I think that last bit is a bit obvious considering the certain performances that we actually saw. Now, the previous game, of course, was that Club World Cup final against Paris Saint-Germain, and it was a quite comfortable 3-0 victory for Chelsea in the end. And the thing which kind of impressed me most about this game is how we decided to play differently in a way than we would usually do, and we still looked very comfortable against one of, if not the arguably the best team on the planet right now. And I think that's exemplified by a player that we don't give enough credit to a lot and has been very good in this last run we've been going on, in this really long kind of successful streak that we've been having, minus a few performances that were kind of against the run of play, let's say. Robert Sanchez put in one of the best goalkeeping performances I've seen in a Chelsea shirt in a very long time. And it's not just the fact that he was, stopping all the shots that came out his way. He was doing successful high claims. He was, sweeping up at the back when the ball went over the top. Things like that you expect from a sweeper keeper. The thing which I was really impressed with is, and again, people will talk about the long balls, right? People always talk about his long balls, and they're usually quite shaky. And in fact, if you actually look at the stats, they don't really show how good his long balls were. In fact, they were actually kind of poor in terms of successful long passes. So I don't think they're calculated properly from what I watch with my own eyes, because distribution, which is something that is often kind of criticized or often kind of poked fun at, is something that he was obviously it's been working on. It's something he's obviously been instructed to do, and it's interesting because again, we know that Enzo Maresca does not like his goalkeepers playing the ball long. He wants to play the ball short and on the floor if he can help it. But there's a clear shift in game plan, and he asked Sanchez to play these long balls into the right channel specifically for the right side over the top of Nuno Mendes, and pretty much every single one caused an issue of some kind. And if it didn't cause an issue, it went up the pitch and allowed us to get out and kind of alleviate some of that pressure that Paris Saint-Germain that were putting on us and they like to put on other teams. And personally, and again, you can disagree with me here, but personally, if it weren't for a certain other player putting in a man of the match performance, who I'll talk about in a little bit, he would 100% be getting my player of the match. And at the time, before he kind of decided to show up, that certain other player, I was saying on my live stream, I was saying that Sanchez is by far the best player on the pitch at the moment. But yeah, he was really good, and I think that the way that he kind of allowed us to play the game plan that we had set out specifically and do so successfully is got to have a lot of credit go to Sanchez, who did really well, especially for a keeper that has for the most part been continuously criticised, and by myself as well. I think he really proved some of the doubters wrong in this game, and hopefully he can keep this up and keep the consistency. Now, the next player we're going to talk about is the player that he was combining with the most in this game, and the player that, again, would probably be my second man of the match if it wasn't for this other player I'll talk about later, and that's Malo. I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks now, that Gusto has really risen from the ashes in a way. He's really gone on this kind of resurgent run as of late. And part of that is due to the system that we're now playing, this new kind of 2-2-4-2 or the 3-1-4-2, what have you, whichever one we kind of play at the time. Him playing on the right hand side as almost like a right wing back at times, even just kind of as a right winger as he was kind of playing in this game, absolutely suits him down to a T, and he was so good in this game. Not only being the recipient of the long balls from Sanchez on that right hand side and allowing us again to play that system, I think defensively he was really solid going backwards, and obviously he was having to put in a lot of work getting up and down the pitch. But I think the thing which really impressed me was just how good he was at kind of trying to get past his man at times. We don't really expect a right back to be able to beat his man and go forward, but he was constantly getting past Nuno Mendes and constantly dueling him and winning those duels, and it kind of allowed us to play the way that we wanted to play. Obviously, he gets the assist for one of Cole Palmer's goals, which is a little bit fortunate, but it's his own good work that gets him into the box. He tries to cut onto his left foot, and he does deceive the defender. Cuts onto his left foot for a shot. Lucky ricochet bounce back to him, but then he makes the right decision on the second chance, lays it off for Cole Palmer, and Palmer obviously gets his first goal. But yeah, very all-encompassing performance from Gusto. Very overall very, very good. And again, he against tricky wingers, he was having to play against multiple different people. Obviously, Kvaratskhelia, who was mainly on the left, he was dealing with pretty well. I think that he had a very, very poor game in truth. Ousmane Dembele was sometimes on the left side he was having to deal with. Sometimes he was having to deal with Mendes himself going up the other side. He was having to deal with so many different threats, and he dealt with them for the most part pretty well. Very, very good performance from Gusto, so he gets into the good box as well. The next point is also going into the good box, and this is just a bonus point, not kind of my normal 7 points here. It's going to the sponsor of today's video, Go Goal Shop. Go Goal Shop is the best place for you to reliably get quality, authentic football shirts for an insanely cheap price. I was able to get both the Chelsea home and away kit for this season, along with this classic Chelsea shirt from the 2004-05 season as well. The good people at GGS have also given me a discount code, so you can get an extra 15% off when you use the promo code MONO at checkout. Every purchase you make helps fund the creation of my content, so if you want to support me further whilst also getting yourself some apparel for less, then get yourself over there using the referral link down in the description or in the pinned comment underneath. Thank you once again to Go Goal Shop for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back into the regular points. Okay, but in all seriousness, the next point is going to a player that we basically didn't even expect to having to be put into the good box ever. A player that we didn't expect to be playing with us when we first started this tournament, and a player that has proven that he's shot right up into the starting 11 immediately. It's from the beach to the best. It's Joao Pedro. I mean, just this guy is phenomenal. He has come into this team pretty much out of the blue, no pun intended, and has absolutely hit the ground running. From getting 3 goals in the space of 3 games, or 3 goals in 2 games, getting an assist as well, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong there. Again, 4 goal contributions in that case in the space of 3 games is really, really good for a forward coming in, and he's already kind of proving that he was worth the price tag we've paid for him. And the thing which is really impressive about him is that he can do all of the hard, dirty work and, you know, drop deep, use the link-up play, be the build-up player, try and win the duels when the balls go over the top. He can be the man who drifts from either side of the pitch and, you know, causes nuisances. But the real thing which is so good about him is that unlike some of the other forwards that we have up the club, he seems like a real pure finisher. He seems to understand which finish to choose whenever he's in a situation. He seems to understand how to hit the ball. He seems to understand, okay, this is a scenario where I can score, and he doesn't always take on the shot when he knows he can't really take the shot on. He'll pass it off if he doesn't think he can get that opportunity. But when he does get a clear-cut chance, like we saw up against Gianluigi Donnarumma, he takes it with absolute aplomb. The little dinked finish is so difficult to do, so cheeky in a way, and against the keeper of Donnarumma's quality, it's very nice to see him being able to pull off this type of finish, especially a nice little deft finish after we saw 2 absolute belters in his previous game. He's showing a variety of finishes that he can kind of do, and long may that continue. I think that he's really shot himself up as our first choice striker now going into the new Premier League season, and obviously the 2 preseason games that we have as well. I feel like he's going to be a really big star. I think he's going to be our starting striker, with Delap kind of being the substitute. I think Delap, even though I'm not going to talk about him as one of my points today, I think that he had a decent cameo off the bench as well. Nearly got a goal. Donnarumma was able to save his shot. But yeah, those 2 especially coming together, I think, is a really good prospect for us to have, because they do give us a few different kind of profiles of strikers, and they gives us 2 strikers that are able to get into scenarios where they can score very easily. And it feels now, and you guys know that I'm the biggest Nicholas Jackson defender. I've always defended Jackson for the work he gets through. It feels really like there's a changing of the tides in terms of our strikers, in the fact that he is, again, as I said, a pure finisher. It always feels like with Jackson that he can always get into those scenarios really well, and he does so well in the medium. But when it gets to that kind of like crucial part of trying to finish chances, he's just not consistent enough. And Pedro is showing, at the moment at least, that he has that consistency, he has that ability to finish. And again, long may it continue. I think he's going to have a really good career here at Chelsea. The next point is also going into the good box. It's for our captains, and I'm going to be putting the armband in here, but this is for Enzo Fernandez and Reece James, the 2 captains of the side, the vice and the main captain. I think that these 2 really, despite not having the kind of greatest stats on the day, I think they really kind of showed the ability that they both do have in certain different aspects. I think that James was kind of questioned when he was put into the lineup, especially when he was put up into midfield, and I was one of the people saying, oh, it's a kind of a bit of issue. I was kind of doubting whether he'd be able to play up against a very high pressing PSG side, a very hard working PSG side, and he completely proved the doubt was wrong there. He was phenomenal in the midfield at kind of playing the ball under pressure, being able to knock it around those presses, be able to recycle the ball when he needed to. I think he was very, very good there. Also, the main thing which I want to talk about these two for, and Enzo obviously can do his dropping deep as well. The thing which I really want to kind of talk about was the leading by example that these two did in terms of the pressure. Whenever you looked at the press that we were doing, when we weren't really trying to press for the majority of the game because we were sitting back and allowing PSG to have possession, but when we did go forward and did press right at the start of the game to kind of unsettle them, it was Enzo and James that were leading that press. It was very odd to see James playing almost in a centre forward position at times, running up the pitch trying to press people. Likewise with Enzo, we're kind of a bit more used to it with Enzo now, considering his tenure as left forward under Pochettino, and then of course now under Enzo Maresca, he's a lot higher than we kind of usually see him. But both of these two, even though they don't get the assists, they don't get the accolades for creating chances or what have you in this game, the work that they got through is absolutely phenomenal, and it set that kind of precedent, it set that tone for the rest of the team to also kind of, get up and get fired up for the game. And again, that's what you want from your captains. You want that ability to lead by example, and it really set the tone for the game. And I don't think PSG recovered very easily from that initial kind of rampant pressure that we put on them. And part of that was due to these two just deciding, yeah, you know what, we're going to go step on them. We're going to, make them uncomfortable. We're going to force them to play our game and not play their game. Very, very good from both of these two. I think that they had, despite not having the statistically the best kind of performance, I think that on the eye, and it's one of those stats that doesn't ever really get picked up, is pressure and pressing and things like that. And I think that these two went really under the radar for how good they were. For the fifth point, I'm going to be putting in the players that I've always referred to as the heartbeat of Chelsea. And you guys know who those are, but I'm going to be adding another addition here. And the heartbeat of Chelsea has always been, for me, Marc Cucurella, who I always say is the heartbeat of Chelsea, and Moises Caicedo. These two have always been the kind of the heartbeat in my opinion, in the way that they kind of again set the pace for the rest of the team. They're the ones that are always up for every single game. They're the ones that always put in maximum effort. But I'm going to be putting in another guy here because I think that he has started to exemplify this as well. And I think that again, despite not getting the kind of best statistical performance, I think that he put in a really good performance in terms of his presser and his pressing and his work rate, and that's Pedro Neto. I think that these three as a force is really, really hard to deal with. I think that, again, on the left hand side, he was almost acting like a left wing back at times. He was sprinting back trying to defend, and after he did his defensive work, he was sprinting forward trying to get on the end of things. Obviously, again, Caicedo is always working as hard as he possibly can in the middle, and he made that midfield really, really uncomfortable at times. Marc Cucurella was up against Desiree Doué for the majority of the game, and he locked him up pretty much for the kind of few one-on-ones that he had. Again, we were kind of doubling up on Doué, so a little bit unfair to him to say that, but, doing his defensive duties and then again also trying to get up the pitch when he can, and just again helping us build up from the pressure. And I've always mentioned it, it's just the effort and the way that these three always kind of play with their heart on their sleeve. And I know that we've really had a kind of point to prove, and obviously Neto, especially considering recent events, had a kind of a point to prove in terms of him wanting to win this trophy for his late friend. I think that all three of them, again, just they put the cherry on top of a really, really good performance because they work so hard. And again, like I spoke about with Enzo and James leading by example, I think the other players in the team see these guys working so hard and they kind of have to match that energy in a way, and that really just gets the rest of the team working. I think that kind of part of that influences Malo Gusto here, right? Gusto, again, being really, really good defensively, but also trying to get up the pitch as much as he can. I think part of that is the effort that Neto has been doing in that role for a while now, because he's been playing on that right hand side at times, with Cucurella doing the left-handed job. And I think he's really taken inspiration from Neto in those kind of previous rounds and has put that to kind of show how good he can be in this game. I think again they lead by example like the captains do, and we're really starting to find those kind of those players that play for the club, right? That's the thing which I love. I love players that play for the badge. Again, Enzo and James are some of these. I think that Pedro is starting to, even though he's only been here a few days, I think he's been really doing that. Obviously, there's other players that I'll talk about in a second here, but these three I think are the prime examples of players that kind of play with the heart on the sleeves, including these two as well, actually. And yeah, it's good to see from them because again, they don't really have the best statistical performances, and I think they would go under the radar if I don't mention them. But phenomenal from all three of them. Just the work rate they get through is insane. I have to give them credit for it. From the fiery attitude of these three to the cool, calm personification of the word cold, it's Cole Palmer. We knew he was going to be in here. We knew he was going to be in here. We know everyone's going to vote him for the great. Obviously, we know that. If you want to do your votes now, put it down in the comments. But we knew that this guy was going to be in here, right? We knew that he was going to be the guy we speak about particularly because this was, as I put on my bingo card, big match Cole. He always turns up for these big games. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just because he puts in more effort or he works harder in these games, but it was one of those classic Cole Palmer performances where he just decided, you know what, I'm taking this game by the scruff of the neck. I'm winning this game. And I think the clearest example of this is the way that we get into the game at the start, right? It's about 7 minutes into the game and he has that first chance which he misses and he's very, very close. Obviously, on the watch along, and maybe I'll put a clip of it in here. Cutting inside, here's Enzo. Good ball into Joao Pedro. Lovely flick. Palmer! Oh, it's in! No. Oh, it's not in. It's hit the side netting. It looked like it went all the way around the net. Oh my god. I swear that was in. That's mental, but that's a really, really good play from us. Again, it's a lovely little 1-2 with Enzo. Flick from Joao Pedro is beautiful. Oh, that's so close from Palmer. It's so close from him. I on the watch along genuinely thought that it was in. It was so close. I thought they went in, but that kind of really set the precedent again of he really wanted to get his goal immediately and he wanted to get us off on a good start and get us this trophy. And even though he didn't score that chance, eventually he would get the chance to score from a very similar position and he would not make the same mistake twice. And he scores again. That's the one from Gusto. It's a long ball from Sanchez up to Gusto. Gusto does really, really well to hold up the ball. He gets his shot away, doesn't go where he wants it, but then he plays a cut back for Palmer. And it's the exact same finish, but this time he does it right. Really good finish from Cole. And again, 2 goals, 1 assist in this game. He also gets the assist for Joao Pedro with a beautiful pass in to him before he dinks it over the goalkeeper. But I think the goal that really exemplifies this for me and shows why Palmer is the poster boy, right? The reason why he's the franchise, right? He's the guy that we kind of put on all of the promotional material because he is Chelsea. He is our. People always say that we're Palmer FC at times, and admittedly that has kind of gone out of the window with him having a bit of poor form towards the end of last season, and now the rest of the players are kind of having to step up to his level. But he is our talisman. He's the reason why he's got the number 10 now. He's the reason why he's taken on that mantle from Eden Hazard. Let's not talk about Mudryk. He's the reason why he's kind of taken that number now is because he is the franchise player, right? He's the big game player. He's the guy that shows up when we need him. And again, the second goal just kind of shows that in the fact that he has the confidence, and some would say arrogance. I would kind of say he's a bit arrogant at times, and sometimes you need that as a footballer and as a competitor. But he has the confidence to completely sit down 2 players with a fake shot and then just put it into the exact same place. Up against, again, one of the better defences in Europe, I would suggest. Up against one of the best goalkeepers in the world in Gianluigi Donnarumma, and he's completely made a fool out of all of them on his own. He just decides, you know what, we're winning this game. Come with me, everyone. We're winning the game. And it's one of those things where we always need that type of player in our side. We always need someone that can just, you know, like Eden Hazard before him, just pick the game up and say, you know what, we're just winning the game. Like, you can't do anything about it. I've decided we're winning the game. He did that in the Conference League final. He's done it in this final too. And yeah, long may his form continue. I think he's really starting to get back to the Cole Palmer that we know. That egotistical, arrogant, confident, free-flowing Cole Palmer. And now this new system is kind of suiting him. I think that he's going to have an excellent start to the season when we get into our first game. Now, the final point I'm going to be making here is for a man that I think people know by now I am absolutely infatuated with, and a man that I'm so happy that I've stuck with this entire time and stuck with, again, before we even signed him. I was backing him to be our manager. I was backing him to be the one that could lead us to glory, and he's already got us 2 trophies. It's Enzo Maresca. He's completely revolutionised this team. And we said, a lot of the guys that are on our side said that this would take patience. This would take getting through the kind of, to use a Formula One term, you have to get through the grain of your tires in a way to get to that kind of get the kind of grip that you need. Very much what's happening with Chelsea here. We went through a spell of, some kind of teething issues. He's really like upgraded that now, and it's clear that with this new competition that his focus has changed, where in the first season it was very much okay, everyone learn your positions, everyone learn the way we want to play football, and now he's expanding upon it with the way that we can be flexible, when we can be fluid, and now that everyone kind of knows what they're doing, he can change the positions up and change the formation, and everyone knows what their roles are regardless of what the opposition is. He's able to adapt to it, and I think that's the thing which is really, really good about Maresca. And it's, again, something that people complained about when we first got him, is that he was apparently very, very stubborn. He was a coach that didn't change his ways and couldn't adapt to certain things. He's completely thrown all of that out of the window. He is so adaptable. And the thing which really impresses me for this specific game, and maybe I'm just kind of hyping him up here because he basically did exactly what I said to do in my preview. He, hands down to a T, I said we should play pragmatic football. We should play the ball long from Sanchez. We should, be really horrible and hard to break down and then score goals on the opposite side. And that's exactly what we did. And we completely took advantage of the weakness that PSG had. The only two defeats that they had in the league were those two that I highlighted in that preview, the Nice game and the Strasbourg game. And in both of those games and the Botafogo game that they lost in this competition, it was clear that a pattern was emerging for how you beat this PSG side and how you set up to beat this PSG side. Enzo Maresca set us up exactly in that way, and the game plan was clear from the offset, right? It was clear that he wanted to target the right hand side where Nuno Mendes was, and where he would always be getting a bit too high and that space is in behind. And it's clear that he wanted Sanchez to completely abandon what he's been learning throughout the last season. And no, you're not allowed to play it long. You have to play it short. That's what's been drilled into him the entire season. He said, you know what, this game is different. You need to be playing those long balls. He gave the license to Gusto again to get his form back and, play in a position that suits him much better than the inverted role. So he could obviously get on the ball. He's given the license to Cole Palmer to play in this free 10 role where he can get on the ball and impact things, not only assisting for his strikers, but also getting goals himself in the 10. And again, he's allowed James to play in the midfield where he can stay fit and he doesn't have to do all of the bombing up and down the pitch that he needed to do as a right back. And he did give him only 60 minutes here and took him off to manage him as well. He gives the license to, Pedro Neto to just run in behind and be a nuisance. Caicedo to free roam and tackle everyone. Cucurella to play in that left-sided three at the back and also be able to get forward when he needs to. He has made a system and he's implemented it perfectly for every single player to have a role. Every single player has it feels comfortable, right? This is the thing which is so impressive, and it also goes down to the defenders. I'm not going to be talking about the defenders because I've been singing their praises for the last few weeks now, but Chalobah, Colwill in those other two defensive roles were so comfortable because again it's where they want to play. It's Chalobah playing on the right hand side of the defense where he's really good one-on-one defending. It's Colwill playing in the center of a back three where he can use his passing to get us through the lines, but also again be very defensively solid when the ball goes out to the left side because he can drift over there with Cucurella and double up on people. It's been such a flawless transition into a new look Chelsea side that still has the same principles for the most part as the original team, but allows every single player to be playing in their optimum position, allows every single player to play the role that they want and to perform to their best ability. And also it's so adaptable that we can now play these big sides, and this was a real test against, again, the best team in Europe, and it really showed that we can actually mix it with the best of them. And I think that this is going to set not only, again, that confidence for our whole team, winning not only the Conference League, but then obviously winning this as well. I think we're going to go into the new season really confident and expecting to be able to win extra things this season. I think he's taking us to the promised land, and though it took us a little bit of time, admittedly it's literally one season and he's already got 2 trophies, so can't really complain. I mean, that's better than Mikel Arteta has done in his first season, better than Mikel Arteta has done in the last 6 seasons, let's say, and other coaches too. Mikel Arteta was the first one that came to my mind because obviously they're one of our rivals, but again he's completely trumping rival managers in that regard already in his first tenure. And again he's gotten so much. He makes the club enjoyable to watch again. The people that were chanting at the start of the season, we've got our Chelsea back, I think now truly we have got our Chelsea back. And it's good to see, again, it's good to see us winning a trophy with a horrible pragmatic style is so Chelsea. It's the way that we've always been, and it's good to see that we can do that when we need to. But again, I just think he's brought that fear back into Chelsea. I feel like a lot of people now, after we've won these trophies, will not be looking at us like a pushover. They won't be looking at us as, oh, this is an easy 3 points, or, you know, oh, this is a team we want to come up against in a competition. I think we have gotten back to that stage that we were at in 2021, where it was like, Chelsea are a team that are horrible to play against. You don't want to play against them because they are so good. I think we've gotten to that point now that even against a side as good as PSG, we have looked so phenomenal and are again quite a scary prospect to come up against for any team. But as I said, let me know what you guys will be voting for your great and your thoughts on the game in general. I used a few days to kind of digest this result. I'll be putting Cole Palmer as mine, obviously, because I think that he deserves it for his performance. He has the highest rated player in the game, and he obviously is the player of the tournament as well, I believe. So phenomenal from Palmer. He gets into the great box. You guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. It really helps out the channel and me. And for more videos like this and watch alongs as well, don't forget to subscribe as well. That's the best way to get these videos into your sub box and on your home page. Don't forget to check out Google Shop once again. Their links will be down in the description and in the pinned comment as well. Thank you guys so much for watching as ever. And remember, football can be as simple as black and white.
Something ain't right, I'm drowning in the ocean. I'm still alive, but I feel the fall in my ocean. I lost the fight and now I'm finally floating, but I still try to hide my emotion. Who am I in pieces? I've been broken. It's black and white, but my